Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to my special broadcast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. Welcome to my Commitment 2018 Primary Election Eve special. Let's begin and take a look at your 2018 primary election voter guide. Let's take a look at the governors. We're going to start with the two Democratic governors, and then Chris Sununu. Here is the first Democratic governor that is running, Molly Kelly. And this is information about her, and then next governor running for Democrat is Steve Marchand. And the next governor is running for Republican is Chris Sununu. And those are your Republican and Democratic governors that are running in the race. Now let's take a look at the people that are running in Congressional District 1. We begin with Naomi Andrews. This is Naomi Andrews. Next person we're going to introduce is Paul Cardinal. The next person is Mark McKenzie. The next person we're going to meet is William Martin. The next person we're going to meet is Deaconel McKerner. The next person we're going to meet is Mindy Mesmer. The next person we're going to meet is Terrence O'Rourke. The next person we're going to meet is Chris Pappas. The next person we're going to meet is Lovie Sanders. The next person we're going to meet is Lincoln Sildelti. The next person we're going to meet is Maura Sullivan. The next person we're going to meet is Michael Sills. And he is running for Republican, I should say. We're looking at the Republicans now. The next person we're going to meet is Jeffrey Denner. The next person we're going to meet is Eddie Edwards. next person we're going to meet is Andy Martin. The next person we're going to meet is Andy Sanborn. The next person we're going to meet is Dan Baldetri. And those are all your candidates that are running for 1st Congressional District, the Republicans and governors. Now we're going to look at the Congressional District 2 for Democrats and Republicans. We begin with Annie Kuster, Democrat. Now we're going to begin with the Republicans. We begin with Brian Bellgallner. The next person is Gennard Bellloin. Next person is Lynn Blankenberger. Next person is Robert Burns. Next person is Stuart Levinson. Next person is Jay Mercer. Next person is Steve Negron. And those are the Democrats and Republicans running for 2nd Congressional District seat. And now we are going to take a look at voter information, how to register, polling places, voter ID, report problems. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Broaden your exposure with the right perspective at Aberdeen Standard Investments.
There are some things you need to keep in mind before you head to the polls tomorrow. Before casting your ballot, you will be asked to show a photo ID, things like a driver's license, student ID, or a passport. If you forget your ID, you can fill out a challenged voter affidavit and have your photo taken. If you are not registered to vote, you can register at your polling location tomorrow. You can find information about your polling location on the Secretary of State's website. The State Attorney General has also set up a hotline to report problems or ask questions on Election Day. That number is 1-866-868-3703.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Now we are going to take a look at turnout could be high for midterm primary elections. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Amy Cavino.
Presently, I declared Democratic this season because of the superdelegate issue.
Rick Maynard is a faithful voter. Primaries, general, if there's a ballot box, he's there. So is Dolores Volkman. She's 89 and a regular at the Red Arrow Diner since she was a teenager.
I'll be out there voting. Well, it's very important if you get the right person in there.
And you've been following the campaign?
Yeah, oh yes, right along, reading about them and everything else.
We approached several 20-something potential voters today who smiled and demurred, no interest in the midterms, they said, and no desire to share their disinterest on camera. That worries the older generation, like Mr. Whitaker, who says he's voting to change things.
Because I'm angry.
What are you angry about?
The way things are going in this country, the corrupt government that I think we have. I want to see a change.
A self-proclaimed Republican and Trump supporter confided to us that she's voting tomorrow, but no way would she tell us that on camera, calling the political climate volatile and rude, especially toward Trump supporters. Dolores keeps her voting private as well. Here's why.
I have a lot of friends and relatives, and I don't want to upset anybody. I think it's just better to do it on the side.
The choices for voters tomorrow is vast. 11 candidates for the 1st Congressional District, all weighing in during our Granite State debates last week. And the Republicans putting up a wide field as well for the one district that is truly up for grabs.
The polls open tomorrow, starting at 6 a.m. We're live in Manchester this evening. Amy Covino, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. 6 a.m. polls open. Kelly and Marchand reach out to voters on eve of primary. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cronin.
Candidates are taking advantage of every final moment before the polls open tomorrow, campaigning today with stops all over New Hampshire. Molly Kelly shook hands this afternoon at the Bridge Cafe in Manchester. The state senator has received a big push in support from the establishment, including endorsements from both of New Hampshire's U.S. senators. Over the past year and a half, Steve Marchand has led a grassroots effort, hoping voters connect with his progressive message. Today, News 9 talked with him at the Red Arrow Diner, where he says this campaign can be a defining moment for the party and the state.
People are responding to candidates who are willing to lead in the era and the age of Trump. More than anything, that's what I'm offering, to do it in a way that I think excites the base and excites swing voters with the same message.
We're building a New Hampshire that works for everyone, where everybody has an opportunity and not just a few. And I think that's what really distinguishes what my vision for New Hampshire is and how we get that through.
And both candidates are hoping for victory tomorrow and the chance to run against incumbent Governor Chris Sununu in November. Live in the studio, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Democrat candidates seek to rise above crowd field in 1st District. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton. And Jennifer Crompton as well.
Chris Pappas hit the home stretch of his primary campaign at Mary Ann's Diner in Derry, with former Governor John Lynch at his side.
We're having conversations wherever we can, and I think we're going to see a record turnout in the Democratic primary tomorrow, and that bodes well not just for the Democratic Party, but for our democracy as a whole. I think we need a check and a balance on President Trump and the Republicans in Congress.
Pappas and Maura Sullivan are the front-runners, at least in terms of fundraising, in the epic 11-candidate Democratic primary field in the 1st Congressional District. Sullivan stopped by Caliph's Country Store in Barrington Monday, trying to win over every last possible vote.
I think voters are really energized, and I think, this is probably the most important election, certainly of my lifetime. And we are feeling that and hearing that at the doors.
Sullivan has come under fire in the final days of the race, following negative mailers against Pappas and a flap over the fact she did not vote in the last 2 midterm elections. While she has expressed regret, she says that's not what the electorate is worried about.
It's just not what I'm hearing from voters. What I'm hearing from voters is, that these are